Hundreds of billions burned, and a plot hidden deep within the shadows brought the full wrath of New Eden crashing into a single system. This is the Massacre of Ahbazon. With the cradle of war engulfing the cluster, the Gallente Federation assembled the most elite task force they could find. The best of the best. Veterans, heroes, and pilots capable of turning the tide of war itself. Unfortunately, those pilots were not available. Instead, the Federation got the Blaster Boys. Tasked with protecting vital supply routes through Ahbazon, they managed to uncover a Caldari conspiracy, steal a dreadnought, anger all four empires, and turn an entire system into one of the largest battlefields of the campaign. With more than 100 dreadnoughts entering the field, and news of the operation spreading across the cluster like wildfire, it's time to dive headfirst into the madness. But every story has a beginning. And ours starts with the Blaster Boys' very first mission briefing. So sit back, enjoy the show, and witness the cluster's most semi-reliable task force do what they do best. Because this is Warlock Industries, providing cinematic battles and semi-reliable reporting straight from the front lines. Following the launch of our new live broadcasting division, Warlock Industries has proudly begun bringing you coverage straight from the front lines as it literally unfolds. It has come to our attention that our state-of-the-art equipment is apparently considerably less state-of-the-art when attempting to live stream and record pristine cinematic footage at the same time. As our technicians attempted to apply increasingly larger hammers to the problem, intelligence reports revealed that the scope had been covering recent Blaster Boys operations. Naturally, our media war unit prepared a response. But unfortunately, after discovering that the scope is part of the Gallente Federation, it was unanimously agreed that violence was not an option. So, we did the sensible thing. We waited until the scope's development studio was running the night shift. With only a handful of exhausted employees remaining from their overworked hours of non-stop media posting, several hours of battle footage mysteriously disappeared. Yet, somehow, a box labeled "Property of the Scope" was found sitting at our studio's doorstep. We can neither confirm nor deny our involvement. Anyway, finders keepers? Until our own technology catches up with our ambitions, we are proud to present this recovered footage from the front lines. You might be wondering what started this entire mess. And fortunately for us, High Command had the brilliant idea of broadcasting the operation briefing live to every poor soul on the front lines. So before everything descended into chaos, let's roll the footage and see exactly how this whole thing began. Attention all Gallente personnel! And to the Caldari intelligence officers listening in, please stop recording this briefing. Everything you're about to hear is highly classified. In recent days, the Blaster Boys have been making waves across the cluster. From the depths of Nullsec to the front lines of the war, they have fought against overwhelming odds, clashed with capitals, and helped disrupt enemy operations wherever they have appeared. Over the last several days, Ahbazon has become the site of what military analysts are describing as an absolute shit show. After local forces discovered that Federation supplies were moving through the region, disguised as civilian haulers, they began tightening their grip on the system. Gate camps, patrols, and the general sort of behavior one would expect from people who clearly hate freighters. Naturally, the Blaster Boys were sent out to respond with diplomacy, and oh boy, was there diplomacy. What began as a peaceful mission erupted into a full-scale battleship engagement as fleets collided beneath the Stargate. The fighting intensified by the minute, drawing the attention of nearby nullsec alliances who, sensing an opportunity for violence, arrived to aid in diplomacy. And while the battle raged in the system, the goal was simple: keep the enemy occupied long enough for critical Federation supplies to pass safely through the system, and safely they did. The operation was a success. But Ahbazon was not finished. Over the following days, clashes continued throughout the system. In one engagement, a lone blaster boy found himself facing an entire hostile fleet. As the pressure mounted, intelligence reports pointed toward another target. Local mining operations, suspected of supporting hostile activity in the region, were identified for immediate disruption. The Blaster Boys descended upon the belts. The locals responded with overwhelming force. And, in a development that continues to confuse military experts across the cluster, ventures fitted with smart bombs somehow entered the battlefield. The battle that followed was chaotic. It was violent. And it lasted exactly as long as Federation command needed, because while fleets clashed across the belts and stargates of Ahbazon, special operations units quietly infiltrated strategic facilities throughout the system, extracting highly sensitive materials and intelligence. What was recovered remains classified. Following these successful operations, Federation command has decided the next logical step is to conduct a highly coordinated military operation deep inside Caldari space. Which brings us to today's operation. Our intelligence division has intercepted Caldari military transmissions, revealing the location of a dreadnought operating near the Federation border. More importantly, our agents have reportedly acquired access codes to the facility housing the vessel. Normally, we would simply destroy it. But after careful consideration, Command has approved a more economical alternative. We're going to steal it. Now, some have suggested this may be a trap. Fortunately, Federation intelligence has assured us that the Caldari have absolutely no idea we're coming. After all, nobody would be foolish enough to fly directly into enemy territory, infiltrate a military installation, steal a dreadnought, and attempt to fly it home, which is precisely why it should work. Best of luck to you, pilots. Get in there. Don't be seen. Steal some assets and bring glory to the Federation. The war efforts appreciate your contribution. So, that's what began this whole cascade of diplomatic incidents. What began as convoy protection in Ahbazon quickly escalated into days of fighting. Gate camps were broken, mining operations disrupted, and hostile fleets engaged as the Blaster Boys fought to keep Federation logistics moving through the system. As the conflict intensified, Federation Black Ops units uncovered evidence suggesting the so-called locals of Ahbazon were not independent actors at all. During these battles, these units conducted intel-gathering missions within the system, acquiring key sensitive data pointing towards the Caldari. Acting on newly acquired intelligence, a daring raid into Caldari space resulted in the capture of a Phoenix-class dreadnought. But the celebration was short-lived, as Gallente forces stumbled into an enemy trap and a fierce battle erupted. However, the intel gathered amidst the chaos would prove invaluable, and the Federation answered with overwhelming force. As thousands of pilots prepared for war, High Command hijacked the airwaves, interrupting regular programming to deliver a dramatic message to every soldier on the front lines. What followed was not a battle. It was a massacre. And because we at Warlock Industries are nothing if not dramatic, we have faithfully preserved that broadcast for future generations. So, let's roll the footage. Attention to all those who fly under the banner of the Federation. We announce
Transmission overridden. This is a message from High Command to all Gallente personnel. This is a code red. Recent operations within Ahbazon have uncovered intelligence of the highest priority. What began as a campaign to secure Federation supply routes escalated into days of brutal fighting across Ahbazon. At the time, these battles appeared to be little more than local conflicts over territory and control of the system. You will now be briefed on classified information. Evidence gathered by Federation Black Ops units led to a mission deep into Caldari space and the seizure of a Phoenix-class dreadnought. The Caldari were aware of our mission, and the operation was a trap, but Federation Command was prepared. The vessel was boarded, fielded in combat, and a battle commenced as intelligence was being gathered. Our units have uncovered encrypted communications linking forces within Ahbazon to a broader network operating across multiple fronts and under false banners. The Caldari destroyed the dreadnought with their own forces in an attempt to erase the evidence. They failed. The intelligence was secured, and the battles in Ahbazon were revealed to be part of something far larger. Information recovered from the Caldari Phoenix revealed something far more alarming than we anticipated. Intelligence indicates that a Minmatar dreadnought has been seized and concealed within Ahbazon. Reports suggest the vessel has been subjected to experimental modifications, potentially containing technology capable of giving the Minmatar a decisive advantage on the battlefield and shifting the balance of power across the cluster. Due to the weak dreadnought of the Caldari, they aim to keep this tech for themselves. News of this discovery has been fed to other empires. As a result, multiple fleets and independent forces have begun mobilizing towards Ahbazon. Further intelligence confirms that the local forces operating within the system, now identified as Caldari scum, are preparing to anchor a covert research facility. This is not just about a war or winning battles. This is about saving the future. Their ambitions extend far beyond a single experimental warship, and if left unchecked, the consequences could reshape future conflicts across New Eden. Effective immediately, all available Federation forces are authorized to enter Ahbazon and conduct offensive operations against hostile elements operating within the system. The enemy has spent months building this network in the shadows. Today, we begin ripping it apart. Deploy immediately, crush the Caldari scum, and bring glory to the Gallente Federation. The war effort appreciates your contribution.
What followed was total annihilation. The Minmatar arrived in an attempt to reclaim their stolen dreadnought. The Caldari returned seeking revenge, and the Amarr moved to drive all foreign powers from their territory. Over 1,000 pilots and more than 100 dreadnoughts entered the battlefield as all four empires clashed across multiple fronts in one of the largest engagements of the campaign. Having committed what Concord would later describe as grand theft spaceship, the Blaster Boys wasted no time taking the experimental Caldari dreadnought out for a joyride. Unfortunately for everyone else, the thing simply refused to die. Fitted with experimental technology, the vessel shrugged off punishment that would have annihilated lesser ships. Entire battleship fleets were thrown against it, only to be swept aside. It took hundreds of pilots and dozens of capitals to finally bring down a single ship, and the implications were horrifying. In the wrong hands, and built by the hundreds, entire fleets would become unstoppable. The experimental Minmatar dreadnought was destroyed by the Blaster Boys through self-destruction. Enemy fleets suffered catastrophic losses, and Ahbazon became the graveyard of a vast Caldari conspiracy. As one would say, op success. In the end, the Caldari operation was exposed, their agents unmasked, their research facility destroyed, and their plans brought to ruin. Now, before we return to the explosions, we'd like to briefly interrupt your regularly scheduled violence with a few announcements. First up, mark your calendars for November 7th. We'll be joining forces with this incredibly handsome streamer for their annual 24-hour Extra Life charity stream in support of sick kids. Last year, over $10,000 was raised. This year, we're doing our part by supplying enough fleet content for that day, with aims to wipe out trillions in battle. Speaking of broadcasts, if you haven't noticed by now, yes, Warlock Industries is officially reporting, quite literally, live from the front lines. Meanwhile, the powers that be have recognized the overwhelming success of the Blaster Boys and have graciously blessed us with new Federation packs in the New Eden store. In other good news, Plex is currently 25% off, which is excellent considering that it's the only way that we fund these massive fleet explosions. If you'd like to support our addiction to cinematic violence, feel free to use our codes upon checkouts. It helps us out and gives you even more of a discount. And if you'd rather skip the middleman entirely, feel free to send ISK directly to Warlock Industries. Rest assured, your generous donation will be lovingly cared for before being launched headfirst into battle and violently transformed into content in your honor. To finish off this segment, we still have cinematics of the Massacre of Ahbazon. So, let's get back to what truly brings us together. Absolute pure cinematic destruction of dreadnoughts. Lowsec, as always, continues to burn. In fact, all of New Eden seems determined to set itself on fire, and no thanks to the Blaster Boys, they've fueled the fire even more. So, as New Eden continues to burn around us, we'll leave you with our own collection of cinematics from the battle. The visuals are, admittedly, extremely semi-reliable. But when your recording equipment is held together by caffeine, duct tape, and strongly worded encouragement, you learn to work with what you've got. As always, this is Warlock Industries, providing cinematic battles and semi, And we mean very semi-reliable reporting, straight from the front lines.